You really need to know records are being broken all over the world. The temperature in the UK was the highest ever recorded, breaking the previous record. Around the world, people are using terms like highest ever, record-breaking, and historical to describe areas that have been hot for a long time, from Shanghai to Rome to Sevilla to Asia to Paris to Sacramento to Sapporo. The Earth is heating up with record highs that have never been seen before. The Central England Temperature Data Series, which began in 1659, is the longest-running set of temperature records. The longest quasi-global records started in 1850, but we can go back in Earth's history by measuring annual growth rings in trees from ice core samples, geological patterns, and the fossil record. This tells us when years were mostly hot and when they were colder than average. Taken as a whole, there is no doubt that there is a lot of peer-reviewed evidence that the Earth is warming degree by degree all over the world. Jet streams are slowing down and moving closer to the poles, which makes weather patterns last longer and even seem to stop. Storms are getting stronger, highs are getting higher, and lows are getting lower. Extreme weather is becoming more common, and reliable weather patterns are being broken. It's no longer a one-time thing or even something that happens once in a lifetime. It's quickly becoming something that happens only once in human history. When we build a house, we do so with the idea that many generations may live there. With changing weather patterns, we are finding that houses built 100 years ago, or even just a decade ago, can't provide a stable living environment for us. In the UK, for example, they have a term for this: a hothouse. These are houses that were built to protect against cold and mild temperatures, but aren't made to handle high heat. This means that there isn't much left to give cheap energy to Texas residents whose utility bills have gone up while your costs have gone up and your grids are failing. Many oil companies have made more money than ever before. This puts people, the government, and corporations at odds. Governments will eventually feel compelled to step in and rein in these global conglomerates. As governments struggle to regulate, the real squeeze will be felt by you, the consumer. Crop failures. In the coming years, it won't just be our buildings and roads that will fail us, but also the food we eat. As long-term farmland is baked, flooded, blown away, and destroyed, long-term crops will fail year after year. Farmers won't be able to change directions quickly enough, so large-scale meat producers will have to cut back on their herds and flocks. This will reduce the amount of food available and drive up prices, while in some countries it will lead to famine and death. Fires and floods will get worse. Constantly high temperatures and decades of drought have led to drier plants, more compacted soil, stronger winds, and more lightning strikes. At the moment, wildfires are burning in Greece, Spain, and Italy. The fire season hasn't even started yet in the western US and parts of Canada. When plants are dry, they are more likely to catch fire, and when there aren't any plants on the land, water is more likely to run off the land rather than soak in. Because of this, these record temperatures will lead to more large fires, and when it rains, more deaths and people having to move. As the number of deaths from heat rises, new cooling centers will need to be built, and some countries may have to move away from a for-profit power system. Know what dangers you face and make sure you have a plan to get to safer places if the water rises or the fires come your way. Don't put this off, because your survival could depend on the plans you make now. All right, last point, number 12, build an emergency bag, and a bag you can use every day. Make sure that when disaster strikes, you are at least minimally prepared and have the right tools to get through it. You can argue about the clouds on the horizon, or you can grab your bag and climb into your ark. The choice is really yours, but you must now decide what you will do later to be ready. Here's the thing. We can't stick our heads in the sand anymore. As preppers, we try to make sure we're ready for the most likely situations we'll face.